Are we rolling?
We are good.
And a very good evening. Apologize for just being a few minutes late, but welcome to the regular meeting of the Bedminster Township Committee for April 4th, 2016. We have 4 of our 5 members, so we have a quorum. Mr. Olson is excused for the evening. Can I have the Open Public Meetings Act statement?
Yes, sir. Adequate notice of this meeting of the Township Committee was sent to the Courier News in Somerville, to the Burnsville News in Burnsville, to all subscribers, and also posted here at the Township Municipal Building as of January 14th, 2016.
I'll ask you all to join in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have 2 sets of meeting minutes in front of us, both from March 21st, the regular meeting minutes and the executive session. Does anybody have a comment or question, addition or subtraction? If not, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Mayor, is this on?
I think so. Can we be heard in the back?
Okay.
All right, we have a long list of permits and raffles. We have a social affair permit for the Lamington Presbyterian Church, May 6, 2016. 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the Lamington Presbyterian Church. A social affair permit for the Special Olympics of New Jersey, June 6, 2016, 10:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. Fiddler's Elbow Country Club. A social affair permit for the New Jersey Turfgrass Foundation on May the 2nd, 2016, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. Fiddler's Elbow. Am I not? Okay. Fiddler's Elbow Country Club. I will. Hole-in-one raffle license for the Special Olympics, New Jersey. On June the 6th, 2016, 10:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. with a shootout at 4 p.m. at the Fiddler's Elbow Country Club. A raffle license for the Special Olympics, New Jersey, June 6, 2016, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. with a drawing at 7:30, Fiddler's Elbow Country Club and on-premise merchandise. And a raffle license for the Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital on August the 1st, 2016, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Hamilton Farm Golf Club and on-premise merchandise. And I will hold it there and we'll discuss the next one after. Any comments or questions on the ones I've read? If not, I'll take a motion.
So moved, Mayor.
Can I get a second?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
And we also have, under permits and raffles, a preliminary fireworks display approval request. And this is for use of, what are they, Mr. Bell? I don't... Gerbs? G-E-R-B-S is what I'm reading here. Why don't you get up to the microphone and be heard? Paul Bell, fire official.
Paul Bell, fire official. As I understand, the Gerbs are lining where people go through an event. In this case, it's the wedding party leaving Trump. And it's seen on television by the Red Bull players coming out of the locker room and going onto the field. It's a small fireworks. It illuminates a pattern, and they go down in progression. I've never seen these before in actual Bedminster. The other question comes in is they're talking about 11:30 to 12:30 in the after party. Do we want a display of this type going on after dark? The light illuminant is equal to, as described to me, an old-fashioned car light. So there would be 20 of these going off as the party went down past the lighting area. A new car is supposedly about 3,500 in luminant. So these are very supposedly small, low light. Apparently will not be seen. There'll be less than the lights over at Trump's golf course that are on the parking lot, but they're going to be going off in a series of times. I have 2 questions that I think should be resolved for the people. Do we want to have a display of lighting display at Trump or any other golf course at 11:30 to 12:30 to 1:30 at night? These things never go off when they say they're going to. And the second question is, do we have any jurisdiction?
We have what?
Jurisdiction. They're not fireworks,
Oh.
but they're minor fireworks in each one that doesn't qualify as a fireworks. That's how it came to me, or why it came to me.
Why does it not qualify as fireworks?
It's not large enough explosive,
So it's
but they are little explosive devices in them. So if you accumulated them all together, they would be classified as an explosive. But going off separately, this is what they're telling me, guards say, is that they're not classified as explosives. We don't have to be there, and we don't need a permit, but we just need an okay for them to do this.
Are they shot off into the air, or are they on the
They go 20 feet in the air, depending on the size of them.
So it's what they're telling you, but is there anything, do we have any experience with this at all? Or does anybody, any of your peers have any experience at all that you can reach out to?
Nobody has had experience doing them out in the field, but apparently they're done in the Meadowlands. When the Red Bull comes out onto the field to play soccer, I've never seen them.
I suppose we could YouTube it or go on and Google it and see it, actually
Well,
know what we're talking about.
I think the question is, do we want it to go off at, we hold our fireworks to 10 o'clock. Do we want these things going off so the neighbors can see these things flashing between 11:30 and 12:30? So you might as well see between 11:30 and 1:30.
If it doesn't classify, Paul, as a firework, then is it like a sparkler or something? And what category does this run? I mean, it sounds like
Ladies and gentlemen, I have no idea. I was given this call the other day. I didn't get
if
to
it's
talk
not
to Trenton.
firework, why are they even coming to it?
They say they have to come for a permit.
Ah. They look like fountains.
Right?
In fact, I will pass this around.
Good. Mayor, thank you.
They look like little fountains. I think you've seen them like Super Bowls. They all run out onto the field.
But I want to emphasize, I've never experienced them where they were set off with a pyrotechnic device. They've always been blown in the air.
How long do they last?
Supposedly 20 seconds for each one. 2 minutes.
They don't look like they have.
Yeah.
I don't.
I mean, we really should be concerned, other than the lighting, is a fire hazard.
Yeah, I think if there's not a safety issue,
It's not a
think
fire
it would be.
hazard, then I
it
don't.
doesn't look like they put up that much light. I don't think anybody's going to see them that's not there. If they're safe. I don't have a problem.
Thank you for looking them up there.
Do we have to
I don't think we need a resolution. We can say that
vote?
I'll check with the state and see if there's a permit required. If the permit's not required, end of discussion.
Well, question, when we do have the fireworks permits on a regular basis, do we normally station any fire apparatus nearby, or are they on alert that
Okay. That is a call that the chief, the police, and I make. The fireworks generally do not have people stationed there with a fire apparatus. We keep as many people away from this as possible. This is a case with explosives, and I'm sure the mayor from his military knows the less people you have around explosives, the better off you are. So my opinion is, if it's an area where the public may be, and there is a high fire content in the ground around it, to either cut the grass further, wet it down, or have the fire apparatus there. The 4th of July, we have the fire apparatus there. The Memorial Day Trump, we have the fire apparatus there.
I guess
Are they
my
necessary?
question is, if this is shooting out sparks, it's along the driveway, and it's 1 o'clock or 12 o'clock in the morning, and people leave, is there anything smoldering there? I mean, I don't know, right? It's not during the day.
I don't know. I'll find out if there's no strong objection to doing it. I will find out from the state some of these answers and give you a written little note.
Paul, on the agenda, it says this is a preliminary fireworks display approval request, and you're requesting input from the township committee.
I don't know any more than that, Mr. Jacobs. I mean, that's the way it was presented to me. I've spent about an hour today trying to find out what these things are and where they are. I should have gone to Google, I guess.
I don't think there's any objection.
No, and, you know,
Yep.
generally speaking, just we have a couple of questions.
But the time is the biggest question I have. You know, if somebody wakes up or hear something happening up at Trump and all of a sudden they see a lot of lights going off, are they going to call the fire company? Or are they going to call the police? We do have a requirement.
No, that-
You're gonna know.
If we, I guess, if you find out from the state that they're not regulated fireworks,
End of discussion.
end of
Yeah.
discussion, we don't have jurisdiction.
Yeah, and I would guess that they don't make much noise.
They don't make any noise,
Right.
apparently.
So nobody's going to hear them. Unless somebody's specifically looking over onto the property.
And this is going to be on the
Driveway.
driveway, not the entire length, but just a short.
They said 100, not more than 125 feet from the clubhouse down.
Well, I think there's only 2 residences that would remotely even see it. Right? My recollection.
I've never seen these displayed, so I cannot speak of them.
Well, why don't you talk to the state and what's the date that they want to perform?
October 1st.
Oh,
Long time out. But they wanted an answer this week. That was the problem I was faced with. You know, do we want to have something, a display of this type in 1:30 at night?
I thought it was 11. 11:30.
I don't have a problem with the
Okay.
I
time.
don't think it makes any noise.
I don't have a problem.
No
with the
noise,
time, 'cause it's-
just a lot of flashing lights.
Yep.
Thank you. I think we've got our answer.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Paul.
It's a debate.
All right, twice every meeting, we invite folks up to that microphone that Mr. Bell was just at for public comments. If you do have a comment that you wish to make on anything that's not on tonight's agenda, please feel comfortable coming up and speaking into that microphone. Seeing none, we'll move on to monthly reports from our subcommittee chair. We will start with Mr. Payne.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. 2 just very brief things. This Friday, 10:30 here at Town Hall, we have another meeting regarding the Rattlesnake Bridge Road closure, and all the interested and affected stakeholders will be here at 10:30. I'll plan to attend that. Mayor, are you going to make that as well? Okay. And this is, I think, the 3rd meeting, right?
Yeah.
Anything specifically?
They're
Judy,
coming
that-
back with the final.
Okay.
And I will tell you, just as a reminder, something that was an ask last time that they owe us was, remember they said that for very large tractor trailers, that the way the interchange is configured now, it's not legal or suited, I should say, for U-turns. In other words, for a truck to come in and make the U-turn and come back and go down 78 in the opposite direction. And they were hoping that we would agree that it should stay that way, because it was much more expensive and a much larger job to reconfigure it. And I think we asked at the time to sharpen your pencil and see how difficult that would be, because I think if you cannot turn around, you will be seeing people going up to Rattlesnake Bridge Road, over to Lamington Road, either into Oldwick or back down to 206, or I guess potentially they could go south on Rattlesnake Bridge to Route 22 or some such thing, or 28.
Well, the bigger issue would be, if I understand it right, is that the truck's not going to realize they can't make the U-turn, so they're already off the highway, on the ramp, and now they're stuck.
Well, they can
Right.
continue straight through.
Oh, I get it.
They could continue
can
straight through
on Rattlesnake.
and then go down to the next interchange down in Tewksbury, or they can make a right turn, I suppose, and head up or down
Right. Yeah.
Rattlesnake Bridge. And I think the question I asked was, I'm not sure if the residents would be thrilled with the detour traffic. It's not very much, but that was an ask we had back then.
I guess, I don't know what the frequency of U-turns are there.
Well, I think they have U-turns, but they kind of ride up over the curb, and that's the problem. And anyway, there's probably trucks that try it, but it does significantly impact their design.
mean, you can't make a U-turn on every intersection, right? This is extra for tandem.
I guess it's that's the largest truck. I don't know if it's, I don't know. It's the largest class. But the concern is that if you're going eastbound on 78, if you need to turn around there, the next one is Pluckham in the big mixing bowl. That might be tough to get around back that. Or if you go through the mixing bowl and you realize you should have gotten on 287 north or south, are they really going to want to go all the way down to Tewksbury or Lebanon Borough? You know, the Cokesbury Exchange. I don't know. These are questions we can ask them Friday.
And with that, also on Friday evening, we have the Spring Fling PTO event, and that's at Trump National. I hope to be there and support the PTO.
Is there not another event being held in town on Wednesday of next week?
Another event? Oh, yes, that's the Somerset County governing officials held right here in Bedminster. We are the host municipality. And that will be at Delicious Heights, 6:30, and hope to have a good turnout. And the guest speaker is George Hanley, Esquire from Lesniak, talking about the Veterans Court in the establishment in the state of New Jersey. So it should be interesting.
All right.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Jacobs.
No subcommittee remarks tonight.
Ms. Santucci?
Thank you, Mayor. Our Open Space and Environment Commission was supposed to be meeting yesterday for the tour, but due to the really high wind, 60 miles per hour, we decided to reschedule. So once we have that new date, I think we're meeting on the 20th of April.
And I don't think I have anything else to add at the moment. Ms. Sullivan, Administrator's Report?
Yes, as I let you all know, we have received NJDOT Municipal Aid Grant for 2017 for Meadow Road. We put in a request, the project totaled about $375,000. We got a grant for $223,500. So that leaves about $150,000 that we need to put in our budget to cover the balance. And that would be part of the 2017 budget cycle on Meadow Road. We've also been working on, there's a recreational trails grant that currently the application is due the end of May 15th. And Recreation and Public Works have been looking into the possibility, one of the things that you can get with the grant money is equipment to maintain trails in certain towns. As long as you have certain types of trails that link certain parts of the community and that they access open space. So we qualify all of that. So we were thinking piece of equipment that would help mow these different types of trails easily would be a good idea. The town's currently getting some prices. The grant is up to $25,000.
Bless you.
And Acting Chief Rock, he's been working with some of his senior members of his department. They've had, how many, why don't you go ahead and tell them what you did, how many applications?
Well, we obviously posted the probationary police officer position, sent it out to all the police academies that actively have alternate route candidates. With that response, we received about 27 resumes. Some of them weren't PTC certified, which is a requirement. I mean, you graduate the academy and you're ready to go to work. Some are still in the academy. So on Saturday, April 2nd, we convened the board of myself, Sergeant Cummins, Sergeant Bernardo, and Detective Polito, and invited 10 back. One of them called Friday and said he took a position somewhere else, so we're down to 9. Another one did not show up at a scheduled time, so we had 8. Out of those, there's we've narrowed it down. You know, they all brought something that was a benefit to Bedminster, and between the 4 of us, we came up with the top 2. And then this evening, they were invited back in a less formal environment. Sergeant Ariel and I sat down with just general questions. Now we're going to start the background. So looks good.
All right. Good. Great.
And other than the storm that we had over the weekend, we're still cleaning up from. We've had John's got a couple of roads still closed with trees down. I know the acting chief has been out with a lot of his departments with street light or traffic lights that were out. We had a lot of surges with power. Officers town hall with power surges, computer stuff and that. It's been a crazy couple days. So I don't know that everything's not even back up yet. Is it?
Not yet. They're actively working within the township, so the website said by 11:30.
Yeah.
So I would expect it to be back up.
Yeah, I got a call this evening just before coming over from John Anderson from PSE&G, JCP&L.
JCP&L.
That's right, JCP&L. And yeah, they have crews out on Holland, Black River, and Larger Cross, north of Lamington. So, of course, Barnes. No, he told me he was responding to you. So yes, absolutely. Thank you.
It's nice to have somebody to call.
Mm-hmm.
Really appreciate it.
Alrighty. We will discuss some introduced ordinances, not the least of which is Resolution 2016-037. Is this our budget discussion?
Yeah, just a reminder, the budget is currently down, being reviewed by the state. We have a full review by the state every 3 years. This is our year to get the final review, so we are waiting for their responses, questions, comments, changes. We do hope to have that back before the 18th, so we can still have a public hearing scheduled on the 18th. The auditor, Bud Jones, is reaching out to the state to make sure it's all timely. If we do have to delay the public hearing,
Introduction of ordinances. We have an ordinance and someone to talk about it. I will first explain what it is and invite Ms. Trubert to come up and speak. Ordinance 2016-004. This is an ordinance to extend the lease for agreement between Bedminster Township and the Center for Contemporary Art. This ordinance extends the current lease agreement with the Center for Contemporary Art for an additional 25 years going out to 2041. And the public hearing for this ordinance is scheduled for May 18th, 2016, 7 p.m. in these chambers. And if you will come to the microphone and you can explain what your plans are with the center.
Yeah, can I give you some handouts first?
Sure.
Not related to the lease, but I wanted you to have it. That's our last year's 2015 economic impact statement. So I just wanted you to see what goes on in the little schoolhouse building and how many people are coming over there. The second page shows pictures of the reason why we're applying for the Historic Preservation Grant. It's a Somerset County grant, and basically, when we have heavy or prolonged rain, we have a very wet basement. That's the top picture is the stairs that lead to the basement, and that's in the front of the building. And the bottom picture is the northeast corner of the building. There are no gutters on the building. There were gutters on it originally at some point, and I don't know when they were removed. They haven't been on the building since we've been there, so sometime before the mid-90s they must have been removed. So I'm waiting for a second quote. We've gotten one quote, and one person believes we can solve the problem by putting gutters back on. Another thinks probably French drains would be better. So one way or another, we will be requesting grant funding from Somerset County. One of the requirements of the grant is that if the building is leased, we have to have at least 20 years left on the lease. which we don't. Our lease currently goes to 2024, which, believe it or not, is only 8 years from now. So that's why we are requesting the extension of the lease.
All right.
The last page, and this is also related because a lot of our ceramics program is in the basement space, and we have 2 kilns down there. We do our glazing down there, and we've been raising money for the last 2 years to purchase a gas kiln. Steve, you had asked what it looks like, so that's what it looks like.
Box.
Sort of looks like a college dorm refrigerator, or a little bigger than that, though. But those are the dimensions, so it's not huge, but that is going to be in near that part of the basement that gets wet also, so we really want that to be dry. But I just wanted you to know, and there's also a timeline of what's been going on in the ceramics program, because that's been a really great program for us, and it's drawn a lot of new students, and it's continuing to grow. And the gas kiln is really the last piece of the program that we need that will really set us apart. Usually a gas kiln's in a university program, but not in an art center. So I asked one of our teachers for examples of pottery that had been fired in an electric kiln and a gas kiln. So I can show those to you too.
Similar cost. This one is the electric, and this one is the gas. So the main difference, I think, is really that kind of
Uh-huh.
I don't know, they're all filling for it. So that's our regular one. Same play, and different colors. That's just the style.
Chef F and I.
Yes. Actually, this, that is a different color.
Hang on, that's
Thank you very much. They're pretty That's beautiful.
And these are very safe, right? These, yeah. All right. The name Flynn Leibowitz just comes to mind, and I
This
can't
is
remember.
all insulation. It's got a
Sorry.
fiber insulation in the box.
All right.
So,
Okay, can I get a motion to introduce ordinance 2016-004?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
All right. We will see you on the 18th.
Thank you.
Thank you. We do have one ordinance for public hearing tonight, and that's ordinance 2016-003, which is an ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limit and to establish a cap bank. And this is not what the title sounds like. What it means is we've come in under the state's mandated 2% cap, and we can take the excess that we are underneath and put it in the bank for a future year when budgetary pressures are such that we might need to exceed the 2% cap. So this is an exercise we do every year when we have the opportunity to do it, to put some of this away in the cap bank. Can I get a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Is there any member of the public that wishes to comment or have questions on ordinance 2016-003? Or a member of the dais? I will then take a motion to close the public hearing for ordinance 2016-003.
Second.
Again, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Can I get a motion in favor of 2016-003?
So moved.
Roll call vote, Mr. Payne?
Aye.
Mr. Jacobs?
Aye.
Ms. Kinsey? Aye. Mayor Parker?
Aye.
Thank you.
We have 4 resolutions tonight. Resolution 2016-044, authorizing the sale of vehicles, equipment, and unfound property to be sold at the Somerset County auction for 2016. What items would these be?
We have a very old police pickup truck.
Oh,
We have 2 old police cars. And very old dumpster and some other miscellaneous stuff. It's spot. So, primarily for any vehicles, we have to have a resolution because that's the money was used to purchase these items. And in order to dispose of them, we have to have a resolution. We're sending down to Seneca County who collect stuff from all the towns. And then they do all the work. And then they send it down. It's really nice.
It's not gonna be the same without that Dodge pickup.
You can buy it for the driveway. Everybody can bid on it.
You could bid on it.
There you go.
I think the auction's in May.
Speaking of a check, for budget purposes, do we have to anticipate revenue on this?
No, this would be miscellaneous revenue that goes through.
Do I have a motion for 2016-044?
So moved.
Second. Again, roll call vote. Mr. Payne?
Aye.
Mr. Jacobs?
Aye.
Mr. Zucchi? Aye. Mayor Parker?
Aye.
Always wanted a crown trick.
Resolution 2016-044, authorizing shared service agreement with Somerset County for the certified recycling professional for 2016. Any comments or questions? If not, I'll take a motion.
Just one quick question on this,
Sure.
Mayor. So, up until, go back in a little history, Judy, because we had other people within, we had Sean designated as this one,
we
didn't
had
we?
Sean McCarthy, who was a certified recycling
Right.
coordinator, or recycling CRP. Currently, we don't have anybody. However, someone from John's department is in classes that will have someone needed. They currently prepare all the reports, and then we send them down to the county who has to review them and certify them and take correct. So we send them off. So this is just a shared service agreement to do that with the county. There's a fee we pay them. It's not long.
I guess my question is then, why wouldn't we consider, if this works out okay in the future, just doing that, and rather than having an employee have to do it?
If we can continue, we've had this now this year, last year.
Mm-hmm. Rather than burden an employee with another task.
Somebody still needs to gather and put together the report, the certification portion of that.
So there's, we
So
need
there's
an
still
employee
work.
that puts it all together.
Still a big.
Okay, understand.
Can I get a motion if there are no other questions?
So moved. One second.
Roll call vote, Mr. Payne?
Aye.
Mr. Jacobs?
Aye.
Mr. Zucchi? Aye. Mayor Parker?
Aye. Resolution 2016-046, a professional service contract for J Drill, a special counsel. This has to do with the Verizon pole issues.
Yes. After the last meeting, it was suggested that I reach out to Attorney Drill, who I guess has handled these types of issues before that have been found. So I did reach out to him. He responded very quickly and gave me a proposal.
I just see the resolution. Where would the proposal be?
It should be behind it. If not, I have it here.
I just seem to have the resolution. Yeah. Figured let the lawyers peer review.
everyone's looked at it, we'll take a motion.
So moved.
Roll call vote, Mr. Payne?
Aye.
Mr. Jacobs?
Aye.
Ms. Judy? Aye. Mayor Parker?
Aye. And finally, Resolution 2016-047, authorizing the appointment of a temporary full-time seasonal laborer for the Department of Public Works. It is getting that time of year. The grass is growing. John, anything you can add to this?
This gentleman is a concerned person from last year. He worked very well by himself.
Any comments or questions? Not, we'll take a motion.
So moved. Second.
Roll call vote again, Mr. Payne?
Aye.
Mr. Jacobs?
Aye.
Ms. Judy? Aye. Mayor Parker?
Aye. Next, we come to the bill list, and I'll take a motion to approve the bill list pending the approval of individual invoices.
So moved.
Second. Roll call vote, Mr. Payne?
Aye.
Mr. Jacobs?
Aye.
Ms. Judy? Aye. Mayor Parker?
Aye.
Thank you.
Now we are up to discussion items and new business. Under new business, I think we have some folks in the audience that have been waiting very patiently to come up and talk to us about the wildlife monitoring project or report on it. And please introduce yourself. Come up before that microphone right there. Somebody might be in front of this computer here, but let us know who you are, because there's a camera right up there that may not see much of you, but they'll hear your voice.
Bear with me as I adjust our optics here.
I might need night vision goggles for this.
Yeah,
Apparently it's good
our cord's in rough shape.
This is how the turtles do.
That's right.
The eyes of the turtles.
That's right. It's the amphibian optics.
We may have to do this the old-fashioned way and just kind of rough it in. But thank you, Mr. Mayor, committee members, Judy, for allowing us an opportunity to come present on this project. My name is Brian Zarati. I'm a senior zoologist with the New Jersey Division of Fish and Wildlife's Endangered Non-Game Species Program. I left this title slide in here, a roadway wildlife crossing structure designed for state-threatened wood turtles in New Jersey, United States. We all obviously know what we're talking about, but since the project was finalized in spring of 2015 with the implementation, I have had the opportunity to present on this project through several different conferences, poster sessions to both domestic and international audiences. And there's been a lot of good response. People are looking at this project as an example of things to come for this kind of wildlife conservation and mitigation opportunities. So it's been a great thing to be part of. I'll be kind of just going through some of the quick background, getting us up to the point of where we are now, and then Natalie will continue on with some of the summary from our monitoring efforts. So just to remind us about the cast of characters, and again, apologize for the display here. This was all kind of brought on because of our population of state-threatened wood turtles, which do occur on the portion of Stall, natural property. We also have things like our state special concern eastern box turtle. We do have a small population of spotted turtles, which are another special concern species here in New Jersey. Of course, our famous painted turtles, which are right in that big pond right off of River Road in that Stall natural area. Snapping turtles, wood frogs, northern spring peepers, the ones that are making all that racket, that peep, peep, peep. Green frogs, this one happens to be eating a northern spring peeper. Some of these photos are actually from River Road over the years. This is survival of the fittest out there at River Road. American toads, which have most recently just kind of finished their breeding activity. northern gray tree frogs. They'll be kind of coming up pretty soon here, end of this month, early May.
Oh, and before you go too far, some of the descriptions had special concern. What does that mean?
The state has conservation status for all of our wildlife. And so if we kind of categorize New Jersey's wildlife into two broad categories of game, things that you can pursue, hunt or fish, and non-game, it's those non-game species that have conservation status that relates in some ways to their rarity within New Jersey. And so the tiers of those going from kind of most severe to the least severe within that particular guild would be your state endangered species, kind of the highest risk of extirpation from the state, state threatened, and then state special concern, and then below that is kind of what we call more of a stable status species, things that we feel are either I don't want to say common, but a little bit less threatened with extirpation. So it's those top three: endangered, threatened, special concern, that we feel the most concerned about their continued viability in New Jersey. What I wanted to try to illustrate with this slide is the transect of River Road. It's an interesting place. We're right at the intersection of a bunch of major highways, and what's drawing these animals across the roadway is different opportunities. So the turtles are moving across that roadway from the wooded side to those open fields for nesting, and the amphibians are kind of moving towards those two dark features, which are impoundments for breeding. And I just wanted to kind of tie this overall project into another DEP initiative called Connecting Habitat Across New Jersey, where we look to model wildlife corridors throughout the state, looking for opportunities where animals need to try to move through our fairly fragmented New Jersey landscape to try to fulfill different life history needs. And again, what this slide is trying to show here is the blue box, blue rectangle that's around a section of yellow represents some of our draft modeling from the Change Project, which does kind of highlight the River Road Park as an important area to restore connectivity. So, we kind of think about River Road as this, kind of small, unique project, but it is kind of fitting into a larger planning effort that DEP is, currently developing. And just in case, you haven't spent a lot of time looking at those structures that, John installed, this is a picture of the head walls. The fencing in these head wall areas are very important to have guided the animals towards the tunnels that were installed. One of the key factors with this project was designing these tunnels that would maximize movement of the target species through them. So in this case, we tried to maintain continuity of substrate from the tunnel entrances through the tunnel, and that's what this mulch backfill is for. And then also you can see the animal that may be approaching that tunnel can also kind of clearly see through it to the other side. And so, this concept of seeing the light at the end of the tunnel is very important for certain species, and so we've achieved that here. The graded top for our target species of the turtle and the different amphibians and frogs that are moving across here is very important. The light, different humidity, environmental conditions are able to kind of move through that graded top into the tunnel itself, and be fairly consistent with ambient temperature and conditions. And this is again important for those animals and wanting to use the tunnels as opposed to being repelled by them. This is again a picture of our fencing. One of the things I wanted to, or do you wish this showed up better? One of the things I wanted to kind of highlight with this photo that you've seen out on site is the angle design. This was a really important component of it. As the animal's approaching from the habitat side towards the roadway, they're faced with this kind of back angle design, which, if you think about videos of say, someone rock climbing, they hit this, this overhang, and it's much more difficult to climb over than if it were merely a vertical surface. So that overhang structure makes it a little bit more difficult for some species to try to go over it. And the slant from the roadway towards the habitat does have a bit of an escape mechanism for animals that do get trapped on the roadway. They can kind of walk towards that up and over the ramp portion of it. Based upon some public comment, John came up with this great design to address some of our public access desires along the trails, and this is a step-over design for horses. I haven't heard much feedback since, but it seems like the citizens' concern was addressed through John's efforts. So, and while still kind of maintaining the integrity of the fencing for the wildlife. And another kind of just final aspect of the design that was really interesting to kind of be part of was these end designs. So, you know, if we just kind of left the fence end while the animal is going to hit the end of the fence and just kind of walk off into wherever it goes, this U-turn is arguably supposed to help the animal redirect itself back towards one of the tunnels where they can more safely cross. And again, this is just a picture of that angle design as it connects in with the head wall. One of the important components that we'll kind of get to through some of our monitoring and we will wrap up is the public works filling of the fence path with some of the available mulch. This did a great thing to fill in some small gaps that were in the fencing and between some of those boards. As Natalie will show, we did see a lot of animals, frogs, early on, kind of move and meander kind of through those gaps, and so the mulch did a great thing to kind of hide those gaps and make it more difficult for those animals to get onto the roadway. Once we had the complete structures in place, we did have a DEP press release, which you know, did go ahead and generate some other news articles in the popular media. So, you know, not just kind of within our scientific community, but we did get a lot of interest from you know, the media as well about this project. And, you know, this was an interesting one that I threw in there. So this is back when the township was considering using the transportation enhancement dollars. This was dated May 7th, 2013. Bedminster will spend $180,000 to build turtle tunnels under the road. Wise to spend the money? Question mark. And this was a poll of that result, and it was about split with yes at 50.7% and no at 46.48%. So at least in this small sample, there was a bit of a split. But what we want to show you here, what Natalie's going to present to you for the remainder of this, is what we've been seeing out there to date. And you know, my argument is that we're kind of moving in a really good direction. So far, we've seen a lot of positive results from having these structures in place. And you know, going back, and we have presented to you some of this information back in 2014 to the committee. Montclair State University did have a 2010 pre-turtle tunnel study that did kind of quantify the number of animals that were approaching the roadway. Natalie led a Montclair study last year once the fencing and other structures were in place, and then she'll talk to you about some of the other things that we've been doing to monitor this project, which is a really important component. You know, when you invest these kind of dollars, we want to kind of maximize you know, the value that we're getting out of it through additional research and kind of depicting to scientific community, citizens, and other groups, you know, how effective these mitigation opportunities are in addressing a wildlife conservation concern we have, which is you know, vehicle-caused roadway failure.
My name is Natalie Sherwood. I'm a PhD student at Montclair State University, and I'm going to be presenting a little bit of the data that we had from the pre and post culvert installation, and I'm going to talk about Montclair State University first. So back in 2010, there was a small-scale study done, and there were 24 football tracks and silk fencing installed. And this was just across the vernal pool. And the pitbull tracks were 5-gallon buckets from Home Depot. And it took place from March to May in 2010, and they had a total of 782 organisms across 13 states. Then we went out in 2015 after the culverts and the fencing was installed, and we had 10 pitbull tracks, 20 gallons bins installed. And they were installed at the mouth of the culverts on both sides of the Township. And we ran our project from April to July. And we had a total of 2,492 organizations, 14. And then a study that's currently taking place, also by Montclair graduate students, is actually looking at the tunnel usage. And I'm going to talk a little bit more in detail about that. So this is some 2015 data. We found that most of our organisms were amphibians. It's kind of hard to see, but I believe it was 98.8% were amphibians. And our main commuters were wood frogs, American toads, and green frogs, so you could see them on the table. And then we had 0.8% of reptiles, that included snapping turtles, painted turtles, and we did have a box turtle. We also looked at what which tunnels were mostly used, and we found that tunnels 3 and 4, which were immediately across from the tunnel schools, were the most used, and this is because we had a lot of amphibians. And they're very dominant in the area because they're more abundant. You can predict when they're going to migrate, and they have a set destination because they have to. But that doesn't mean that the other tunnels aren't being used. If we look at it by season, in the early migration in the spring, tunnels 3, 4, and 5 were the most active, and they caused 73% of the speed. In the summer, 3, 4, and 1 were the most active, and they caused 77% of the speed during that time. Another aspect of the 2015 study that we did, every time we went out and we checked our bucket, right after we would do a road mortality count, and we would identify where the animal was found and what the animal was. Unfortunately, some of them we could not identify as the unknown, 16%, but most of them were northern gray tree frogs. Tree frogs have sticky toe pads, so they're able to climb over fencing. We found 37 of them, and they accounted for 76% of all the road mortality. And they were mostly found between culverts 3 and 4. Now, 2016, Nicole Bergen is conducting a study actually looking at the use of the culverts by the animals. So when we did the pitfall trap study, we were looking at how the fencing was working at getting these animals towards the culverts. And she's actually looking at the use of the culverts by the animals. So she's going to observe their behavior and determine if they avoid the structure, hesitate for them to cross, or they have no issues at all. And that will also help us in determining any tweaks that we could add to help them feel more comfortable in so that was Montclair State University. The NSP is also doing other monitoring efforts, which includes the volunteer migration monitoring effort at River Road. So on peak migration nights, we ask volunteers to meet us at River Road, and we have a 2.5-hour organized volunteer effort, and we monitor the road. There's 5 transects, and they walk the road up and down and count everything dead or alive on the road. And there's some data from our first night out, which was really early in the season. We had a total of 130 frogs on the road, 102 were alive, and 28 were dead, and there was only 20 vehicles on this road during the 2.5-hour period. Our main species were spring keepers with a 20% mortality rate, wood frogs with a 55% mortality rate. That doesn't mean that the fencing isn't working, but there were a couple patches that were opened up And this was because the migration started early than we were expecting. But the next day we called on and it was all fixed. So we don't expect to see as many on the road next time. Another effort that's being done is wildlife cameras. And this is to see what other species are actually using the tunnel. So there's 5 wildlife cameras on the south side of the road facing the culvert. And they were deployed in September 2015, and I believe they'll be out there for a year. And we've seen a number of animals using them: red flies, possums, skunks, raccoons, feral cats, and chipmunks. And these cameras aren't triggered by amphibians because they need body heat and motion trigger, so we won't see any of those. But these are a couple pictures of the animals actually coming out of the culvert. So you have your fox, and your raccoon, so not only are amphibians benefiting, but also other species are.
Yeah, so there's still, when you kind of start talking about the ecology of road signs and all the things you want to try to measure from the monitor government project, it's very expensive. So we're kind of taking different parts of the road as kind of resources we have. That's we found very early on we had to really broaden our reach with partnership with additional ways to map efforts. Really benefited from working with John Township on getting this project to the ground, maintaining some of the components of it. One of the interesting lessons that we can share with other folks who talk about the project is the fact that project for lower cost they had accepted the next several 5 years ago. As you kind of think about cost effectiveness, how to fund these kind of things, on-site engineering, we had good planning, good concept drawings from the engineer, but we realized that site you'll have to drive down the road, head, couple of hours, standing water here that aren't hazardous, but things that they can happen. Maintenance, now they spoke about some of the maintenance we're going to have with this project moving forward. Grass is going to go up along that things, wood will pop out, wood will pop there. And our target species, which probably won't be affected by some of these maintenance needs, but to maximize their value is to have this fencing some of and then the final little thing is that salt
Like a lip, something.
Yeah, so right now it has that angle. My gut thought is that put a little bit of plastic built to the top of that.
I don't recall if this was being discussed and engineered, but there was another site in the state of New Jersey similar to this? Or is this?
There are, we have a lot of places in New Jersey where, are you referring to the structure?
The whole layout, the design, the scope, and things like that, and what the goal was in this particular project.
Yeah, we have several other programs in the state where we have these projects at different stages. So this remains still the only model packages that focus on those houses. We have other projects on the expressway where Wildlife itself is added to the existing great package. Story on the shelf. But in terms of start to finish,
Once again, Bedminster leading the way.
Well, I think one of the unsung heroes of this is Mr. Manson and his crew for the ingenuity out there.
Right, John.
I mean, there was design and there was intent and there was your know-how that helped guide it, but the letting the mulch meet the fence and some of those unique designs, I think John's people really made it happen.
Mulch meets the fence. You just made that up, just like that?
The rubber beating the road.
The mulch meets the fence.
yeah, I think, really good working with John and his expertise to guide us on project with a original plan on the ground today. I personally had on the ground today. Better final product than
And the first design, was that a standard design?
the first design, we were looking at, we were in and outside of what the provision areas with what has regulations. So the design was for a split rail fence with some net actually the bottom of the split rail, circle back bumper. And I think when we started looking at costs and some of the agencies, John had suggested that we were part of design and other side, level back to those. So it's still satisfied requirements that has cost. And that annual grant approach solved our issue of what we try to consider as safety. So that vertical fence design, animals and how they come to that road surface, let's say, through some of the larger animals that down over, what do you do? Now you got animals trapped under the fence design, so now you got on the back across. That any design the tunnel design, more or less achieved all that by replacing the tunnel.
All right.
Could we get the slides and put them onto the
Yeah, is that
town
something that we
website?
could share on our website?
Are you okay with that? Is that something that
Is-
Montclair State and DEP are comfortable with?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You want to take time to ask them first.
Or if we could just simply provide a link to if there's a site on Montclair that.
Yeah, right now this, this information works at I think, we're letting this public, we're on camera,
Yeah, we'd love to, post it, at least link or we could just do it. We get a lot of
hopefully visual graphics, but I apologize.
will we schedule in advance a follow-up, or is just as the study progresses and you feel that you're at the next point to come back in and give us another update on the surveillance?
The 26 minutes still on
And is this something that Montclair State's going to stay with for 4, 5, 7, 10 years out, or this is your PhD study, and then after that?
No, this was just for fun.
Okay.
I only did the 2015. Nicole Bergen's actually doing the 2016 study, and she's probably going to 2017.
As a chair, I think anytime we have new information,
That'd be great.
Please do.
I have a
Thank
good question about that camera. Do you pull that remotely, is it live? Can you kind of, not able to do it right now, but if we wanted to, can you pull it up, see what's happening?
No, so I go out into the field and do 45
yeah, they think about like you have to create following the messaging, that's right. I was outside of it.
All right.
Great. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Any surprises? Anything that's sort of, whether the numbers or the species, anything that sort of takes you by surprise?
You know, I've been visiting the Saltmaster area, both monitoring the river area, going back to 2003. And it wasn't until the Montclair study started in 2010 or 2015 July. It fell around. You basically creating a rock or walking around 1,000 office. All but
They had sponges in them.
yeah, it's forest, but you really, the diversity of amphibian life, which is kind of more wonderful, much higher than I knew. You don't look for many laws, you don't see so many animals above certain periods of time. And so, that mind remember, that really starts to check off species of much higher.
And did those numbers increase after the installation of the tunnels, or that you still haven't come to that conclusion?
I think the number of animals that are generally approaching the village to try to cross it or come to the species versus the overall area probably needs to really be seen. You know, a goal in kind of quantify what's happening on the roadway. We want to see a reduction in the number of animals that are in the roadway that should continue on the roadway. We also want to document
are the creditors, are they recognizing that this is a pathway for prey to come through?
Yeah, that's a great question. And that's a common concern when this first idea of kind of moving animals through tunnels became part of the conversation. Talking about the raccoon that's sitting at the end of it comes through. And right, we've seen this evidence of things like raccoons, moths, and whatever has predators out there. The plan for the road with the executed was to install multiple tunnels. As we look at distance of species that are there, that kind of spreads it out. So it spreads it out where the predators aren't sitting there at any one spot. They're multiple spots to try to consider sitting. And also the cameras that are out there, we also haven't observed that in the time. So we would expect the cameras are set for take a photo every time something happens or flood. So if you didn't expect to see that, you have multiple pieces of station there. And for the most part, the movements are staggered enough, well, predictable, but still staggered enough where sometimes those predators tend to sit there without. So that's going to sort of have
Good. That's good to know.
It was affectionately at one time called the Predator Drive.
And we don't usually allow drive-throughs in Bedminster.
Yeah, we don't, so we're being very consistent on that. Now it's just the turtle easy.
All right. If there's no further questions, thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Presentation.
Thank you for your time.
That's very good, thank you. Sure, by all means.
No problem. We can also start talking a little bit about old business. We have 3 items on the list of old business. I don't know if there's any movement. The Pony Farm, other than reading a story in the papers past week, I don't know if we have anything new on the Pony Farm.
I did speak to the rain off the building. They are moving forward, getting the price.
And I think they were going to have an internal meeting not till much later in the month.
Yeah, they're supposed to have a board meeting where they're going to roll this thing out to their board and see if it's something feasible they want to move forward.
Okay.
That's coming up with
Okay. Clarendon Library, I don't know if there's anything new with that, with Sandy.
With Sandy's away, I wasn't able to see the follow-up meeting.
Okay. And right away for Verizon, well, I guess our resolution for Mr. Dill is going to drill, rather is going to
Yeah, so like I said,
move that forward.
tomorrow and
Just one comment on that, and I guess this is a result of the fact that we do take meetings now. I did have some people from a couple of the associations, master associations, contact me about what was in the proposal and I guess concerns that these things might be placed on Lakefront, the hills, and a lot of concern about having happen impact the whole, I guess appearance throughout the hill community, consistency of the look. So I said if we have anything, I would call it out. But we don't have anything quite yet on that. Very good.
All right. Well, for the second time, twice every meeting, we open up that microphone up there to public comments. If any member of the public here wishes to be heard, please approach the microphone at this time. All right. Seeing none, we do have an executive session. There is nothing that will come out of executive session to be voted on, so I think we can go to Township Committee comments. Start with Mr. Payne.
Hope to see everyone on Friday and then next Wednesday.
Mr. Jacobs?
Spring Fling this Friday. Urge everyone to attend, and once again, thank you
Ms. Santucci? Yes. All right. Very good. I don't have anything further to add, so I'll take a motion to adjourn to executive session.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
See you in there momentarily. the microphones are coming back on. I need one more person here to adjourn. We need one more person so we can adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Oh, hold on. Okay, it is not 8:47. Can I get a motion to adjourn? We're out of executive session. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Good night.